creepy and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
Okay, massive breaking news. There has just been a major global IT outage. And as we speak, planes around the world are being grounded. Some people cannot get into their bank accounts. Computers have been shutting down and are showing blue screens like this. People say that they cannot pay for their groceries at the store. Emergency services have been disrupted. And this is happening all around the world. Now, we have very little information as to what's caused this outage specifically, but there were first reports in Australia, and then it spread to the US, and now it's global. This shit has gone international. Japan, India, UK, Europe, Middle East, South Africa? I don't know. Is there anything happening there? I'm going to be making a more detailed video about all of this immediately after this, but reports say that the outage is related to an issue at the global cybersecurity firm CrowdStrike. They described it as a large-scale technical outage, but said that there was no information immediately to suggest that it was a major cyber attack. Guess we'll see about that. Can't take a day off. See you soon.
Have they tried turning it off and back on again? We're in leave the world behind era, folks.
It is terrifying how realistic this is. You can take any image in the world and turn it into a highly realistic animation. This is a Chinese image to video model called Kling, and it's the best that we've seen. I mean, look at this fluid simulation. It's unbelievable. And this is publicly available, but it's only accessible with a Chinese SIM card, so I haven't been able to try it. But this IG account, Man Meets Machine, has been feeding it mugshots of celebrities, and it's kind of unsettling how good it is. And like I've always said, there will be a day this decade where you're going to be able to generate anybody or anything doing whatever it is that you can imagine, and it'll largely be indistinguishable from reality. So yeah, we probably need to start talking about regulation. But the best thing that I think we can do in the meantime as creators and consumers is just spread the word. The more people understand the progress of these models, the less impact it'll have when used maliciously. Because when used for memes and concepting and telling stories, I think it's a blast. Let me know what you think below. As you guys know, I've been covering this for the last 18 months, and it really just continues to blow my mind. This stuff just, it seems like it's progressing faster and faster. So follow to stay updated. I'll see you soon.
Imagine how advanced will be this in 10 years. And you always hear from AI from the Western world, but who knows what else goes on in China. Wow, beautiful. This baby might have the most beautiful eyes of all time. Go, little one.
Secret agent spy. There's a tiny, tiny secret room hidden in your teeth. Spies used to use it during the Cold War. Most people think it holds cyanide pills, also known as poison, to kill themselves if they were arrested. But that's not what it actually did. If a spy did have one of these little chambers in his teeth, the most common use would be to store classified documents. As an agent, you're often tasked with assassinating important figures in enemy countries. But usually the VIPs are heavily protected. Their cars are usually equipped with bulletproof glass. When a bullet hits, the outer layer of glass absorbs the impact and shatters. But underneath, a tough plastic sheet acts as a mesh that catches the broken glass. It then distributes the energy evenly across the surface, reducing the force of the bullet. Underneath, there's another layer of glass and plastic. This makes it impossible for the bullet to penetrate, leaving you with nothing to show for it. And the loud noise of the gun often exposes you. So the perfect assassination technique is to create an accident. It's a well-known fact that falling icicles can impale the person below. The reason this happens is because icicles form instantly when water drops and freezes. Due to its narrow tip, it cools and freezes quickly, maintaining its sharp shape. If you set up an icicle trap like this in the path of your target, you can kill them instantly. If your plan fails and you are trapped in a building, don't panic. Equip yourself with a high-level parachute. Open the window. Slowly approach the edge of the window. Then fall back and quickly pull the cord to open the parachute. The rapidly expanding parachute creates a thrust that will lift you up into the sky and land you as safely as the parachute.
Where are we going with this? Okay, my brain is not functioning properly today. Am I the only one confused?
Police, come. Aye! Don't move, you don't hit you. No move. No. No, I don't want you to say something. You call police already. You stay here. Move. Otherwise, you will get arrested right now. I will put you on the floor. If you move, no. He will put you on the floor. Calm down. No. Then you shut up.
I will put you on the floor if you move. I like this lady's style.
I'm so upset right now. There are 8 people in my party. 8 people. $456 a ticket, and they're giving me $100 back. That is it. And we're screwed. This man is getting married. We have reservations. We have cars that we paid for. I paid $380 in a shuttle to shuttle everyone here this morning. They have been here since before me with 3 kids. I've been here since 3 o'clock in the morning. $100 is unacceptable. I am a good customer for Allegiant, and I feel like I'm being completely screwed over. This is bullcrap.
People aren't even close to prepared for what's coming upon us. It's going to be at least 10 times worse than this.
Satanism thing is like, I'm sorry, when did I say that I was a Satanist? When did I ever say anything, or even go marching outside the church, talking about, no. When did I say that?
You don't need to say anything. This one here, as Satanists would gaslight us.
Joe Biden's speech yesterday was a disaster. Biden lost track of his train of thought mid-sentence repeatedly. Watch.
I know you say, Joe, you may not have a Congress. Well, guess what? You all told me I couldn't pass the Inflation Reduction Act. You all told me I couldn't face it. Anyway, we did it. We're going to bring rents down, as I said. We're going to build 2 million affordable homes. And cap rent increases of 5% a year so corporate landlords can't God. Anyway, I don't want to get going. I'm going to get very upset. But there's gouging America. And by the way, not only saves lives, it will save taxpayers, just what I did on the first round on dealing with Medicare. It saves the taxpayer $160 billion because they don't have to pay these exorbitant prices to these
Anyway, you know, not a huge Joe fan, but I really do feel bad for the guy. Come on, man. You know the thing.
Tree roots, since they are grounded, they pick up all of this energy that's in the soil, in the ground. So when you hug a tree, you're getting some of that energy. Hug a tree whenever you can, and especially when you're feeling downhearted and not feeling the best of yourself. Just hug a tree and be grounded with it, because you are a part of this tree, and it is a part of you, because everything is connected. We think we're separate, but we're not. The grass, everything is connected with us. So get into that unity consciousness, that kind of thinking, and it will help you.
He's such a beautiful soul. As a child, I played in the woods all the time, was always climbing trees and sitting in trees. Now it makes sense.
The Machu Picchu in Peru are the largest uncontacted group of people in the world. And recently, they've been sighted coming out of the rainforest more frequently in search of food. According to a local indigenous rights group, they are moving away from the growing presence of loggers. This rare footage was published by Survival International, who say it's unusual for so many people from the tribe to come together in one area.
We need to protect these people at all costs, especially from these evil loggers. They're being forced out of their homes, folks.
Why do you think Elon Musk just sold off all of his properties and now lives in a tiny home? Well, it's the same exact reason why John Mayer wrote a song called Something's Missing and I Don't Know How to Fix It. Or why Tom Brady, after winning a few Super Bowls, gets to the point where he's like, why am I not satisfied? It's the same reason why Solomon, the richest person and the wisest person to ever live, says the same thing Job said at the end of both of their books, where Solomon goes on this wild pursuit of happiness mission and Job loses everything in his life. And they get to the end of these books and they say the same thing that is the longing of these men's hearts. If Elon Musk, Tom Brady, and John Mayer only knew this, that the only thing that can satisfy the human heart is to know God deeply and to walk with Him daily. Everything else is vanity. It's grasping after the wind. You'll never actually attain it. It'll never satisfy your heart. Why? Because the only one who satisfies the human heart is the one who created it.
Yep.
And what He says about you is that you're a masterpiece, that He's got good plans for you. And He wants you to understand His heart through His word so desperately that you can walk in His paths, that you can walk in the kingdom, that you can abide in Him and bear fruit and experience peace and joy that surpasses understanding. I have a free Bible reading plan in my bio for this very reason, so that I don't just inspire you here, but I move you to action, to dive into the Word of God and to live out the Word of God. And that is what will satisfy your heart.
Elon Musk wants to put chips in people's heads. Now that's evil. He definitely needs God.
There was this ritual, I don't know if you heard it. It's the 11-mile drive ritual. And it's kind of about like being high without being high. And it's crazy because I seen a man do it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he said that this drive was kind of like him selling his soul.
Why?
Yeah, so when you submerge yourself into the drive, all you need for this ritual is your car. And like the whole goal of it is like by the 11th mile, you should be able to close your eyes and desire anything you wanted. Like how that guy said, I want to be the greatest guitar player.
Yeah.
Oh, I want $1 million. You'll get that $1 million if you complete this. Yeah, so every mile is different. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th mile, you'll be good. Like it's just driving. But then those like in the water tank, the thoughts start forming because you're no radio, no cell phone. You're just fully locked in into what you want, right? On the 6th mile, it's said to be like now that you start daydreaming, the landscape will become different. So the trees will now become like long grass. Now you're going to be fully submerged. Crazy. Yeah. And there's 3 rules. I mean, there's 2 main rules. The rule number 1 is that if you see any creatures on the road, you're not allowed to talk to them or pull over. And number 2 is you're going to start hearing your family members start talking to you and saying stop.
Shit.
So you're not supposed to stop or just keep driving.
Imagine people pop in the backseat and stuff.
Oh my god. And on the 10th mile, in complete silence, you're going to start hearing a guy whisper all the things that you're afraid of and you're like, will make you paranoid.
Yeah.
And those things will manifest into the car.
No.
So say you're scared of like clowns. When you turn around, you're gonna see a clown
oh my
there.
God.
This is the final stretch though.
Yeah.
Like you're almost there at the 11th. And then at the 11th, you'll see a stoplight. And when the stoplight turns red, you're supposed to...
There's Sam and Colby, folks.
He is surrounded by supporters. Most are sitting or standing in front of the stage. Some sit on the bleachers, center, left, and right. Trump support staff and security, including Secret Service agents, are right at the stage. Behind him are 3 large buildings. On the roof of the building on the far left and on the far right are Secret Service snipers. They are constantly scanning the surroundings, looking for threats. They can be seen in this video filmed by a crowd member.
Hello, Butler, and hello to Pennsylvania. I'm thrilled to be back.
Trump begins with his speech. Things seem normal. He turns to the right and points at a chart showing statistics on border crossings. At the same time, several people in the crowd notice a man with a gun on the roof of a building close by.
He's got a gun!
It's too late.
Take a look what happened.
All of a sudden, bullets start flying. One even gets captured on camera. Another building, about 400 feet or 120 meters north of the stage. The shots are coming from here, on the roof. The gunman is 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. He is armed with an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle. The gun was legally purchased by his father. First, he apparently fires a round of 3 shots.
Take a look what happened.
Trump reaches up with his hand, The first bullet pierces the upper part of his right ear. He will later say that turning over to the right at that exact moment prevented the bullet from hitting him right in the head. He ducks down behind the podium, and within 3 to 4 seconds after the first shot, Secret Service agents swarm the former president and shield him with their bodies. Crooks opens fire again, immediately, with 5 more shots. Right before the first shot by Crooks, one of the snipers on the left roof behind Trump seems to detect the gunman and prepares to return fire.
Take a look at what happened.
Some outlets report that these snipers killed Crooks, while the Secret Service confirmed its personnel neutralized the shooter. We could not corroborate that it was in fact these specific agents. The gunman also hit spectators on the bleachers. 1 man died, 50-year-old Corey Comprador. 2 others were critically injured.
Typical CIA ops. Kill the assassin as soon as he does the job. Finish off the evidence. But I think only Trump and the RNC would benefit from an assassination attempt on Trump. Let me know how you feel about this, if this is a setup or not.
I've been living in Bali now for over 2 years, and honestly, the thought of living in a Western country again scares the shit out of me. Whenever I go back to New Zealand, everything just feels weird. There's too much structure, too much order. Everyone looks miserable, and there's this feeling that every time I go there now, I just feel kind of claustrophobic. Literally about to ride my $2,000 scooter with my French bulldog in the front, with my $10 flip-flops, and honestly, I couldn't be happier. Every single person I've met here seems happy. The locals are like the friendliest people I've ever met. There's no mainstream media ramming their narratives down your throat, and it just seems like everyone here is just doing their own thing and living their own lives. I'm telling you, once you start to make money and you have the ability to work from anywhere in the world, definitely consider Bali. I'd highly recommend it.
Most of the Westerners I know who live here are either content creators or tech professionals. They work remotely as data engineers, cybersecurity specialists, or software engineers. Most of them are entry level, making around 60 to 80K a year, but they live like kings because of their buying power.
This is the world's thinnest apartment. This right here is the wall. We're in Tokyo, Japan, in a little neighborhood called Nerima. Very cute everywhere. But that right there has 4 apartments inside. We're gonna go in. Let's go.
No way.
Let's take a little look.
Oh, look at that.
So these are the stairs. I'll show you guys what it looks like. It's pretty tight. Stairs are very vertical, and you have this little rail to hold on to, and trust me, you need that. All right. This is one of the apartments already, but the one we're going to is up here. All right, we're here. So, this is the door. Take our shoes off, because in Japan, you should never enter a house with shoes. Take these guys off. All right. And this is the apartment. Let's start off with the bathroom. So, this is the shower right here. There it is. All of this. I'm going to get into the bathtub. Here you go. So, if I'm in the mood for a bubble bath, that's what I have right there. Oh my God. All right, so let's go to the living room. Oh, actually, first, this is the kitchen. Your cooking station. You have 1 stove, 1 sink, and then you have a little fridge in there. But this is your apartment. This is your living area. In total, there's 11 square meters. That's 119 square feet. And yeah, this is where you sleep. This is where you chill. This is everything. But take a look at the view. How nice is this? And here you actually have surprisingly good storage. I think it's even good enough to sleep someone. I mean, if you bring a friend, Look at that. I think someone can sleep here. So you guys might be wondering, like, this is nice, but where do you go to take care of your business? You know, where's the bathroom? Where's the actual toilet? So you got to go outside, push this.
Go outside.
And it's actually right here.
Oh.
Remember, this is the thinnest side. So we were just on the other side. That's your master bathroom right there. And they've like completely made use of every last space. So toilet's there, and then that right there, the thinnest part of the entire apartment, is for your sink. So how much does something like this actually cost? Well, if you want to rent this place, it's about $266 a month. What do you guys think? Would you do it?
Hold on, I'm confused. It was shoulder width standing next to it, but bigger inside.
Entire world.
Oh, you know what? I think I got it. Apologize. He was standing on the thinnest, but it widens out further back.
Follows the Christian calendar, right? We all agree it's year 2024. We use the year 0. Jesus' death, right? His birth, Jesus' birth. Yeah. as
well, because there's a really simple answer to this.
What?
Because Jesus existed in all of the religions.
But even though other religions don't worship him as the deity, they do acknowledge that he definitely 100% did exist. And not only did he exist, even though we believe in a different deity, this deity is important enough that we agree that it's year 2024. I just find that interesting. Do you have any explanation on like how we all came to this consensus?
I think it just shows why so many historians, it's like consensus that he was the most impactful historical figure, bar none.
Yep.
They'd say Buddha, your Buddha statue, like that.
He's gone.
Buddha was like number 2, but so you were you were close there. But so I think just again it gets back to the impact. And I love Mike. I didn't know that you knew that because I didn't know that until real recent. How Jesus is the only religious
commonality,
literally commonality, but also every single religion looks at Jesus in a positive way. No other historical figure even comes close to transcending that and being in every holy book. And so I think that says something as well, just the impact.
For sure. I'm just always fascinated by that.
Yeah.
Like we're here, we are like currently warring over what we believe in.
Yeah.
And we all agree that Jesus was born on this day, and we decided to structure the entire world's calendar around that.
Right.
It's merit in that.
Again, is it schizophrenic? Just pulled off.
No, I don't think so, man. I don't think
Could have been.
I don't know.
Jesus is God and King of all.
This article that came out 1934 in the LA Times was called Lizard People's Catacomb City Hunted Underneath Los Angeles, California.
Shut up.
Interesting.
This man named G. Warren Schufelt, and he had developed this X-ray penetrating technology to where he could scan different rocks and stuff. He was in LA on this hill called Fort Moore Hill, and he drilled like 200 something feet down, stuck it down, and he's like, what the heck? There's tunnels and really big rooms and a lot of gold. He's like, what the heck is this? He was telling someone about it, and they're like, you need to come meet someone. But before continuing, I wanted to warn you guys that more and more people have reported that their phones were being spied on by a blue radio app. This can appear on your phone at any time. To check that this does not happen, click on this icon, then on more. If you see it, delete it immediately. So he went to Arizona and he met with little Chief Greenleaf. This Hopi elder said, what you just discovered is one of 3 lost cities along the Pacific coast. There was this people group called the Lizard People. They were called the Lizard People because their idol was a lizard. This Hopi was like, this was a civilization. He said they were so far advanced technology-wise that they had this chemical that they would use to basically bore out the tunnels. So they didn't use shovels and picks. He described the Lizard People's city being amongst these certain hills that exactly line up to where this guy found the thing.
Wow.
November of 2017, 42-year-old Alex Lewis caught a case of the common cold. Of course, thinking it would soon pass with a little bit of medicine and rest, he was horrified when he woke up on the day of November 17th to find he was in unbearable pain and his skin had started to turn purple. His organs were starting to shut down and his skin had began to die. Doctors later learned that Alex's common cold had turned into strep A toxic shock syndrome, and they would later have to remove both arms and both of his legs in an attempt to save his life. The life that he had a 3% chance of keeping. But one additional thing he did not keep was his lips, as the skin around his mouth was eaten away by that disease. Now, after 6 months in the hospital and 18 surgeries, Alex Lewis lives on today with recently reconstructed lips.
Ooh.
And he spreads awareness online about just how deadly a common cold can be.
God bless him and his family. He's looking good for what he's been through. Stay strong, bro.
Today, we are witnessing one of the biggest global outages in years, and you wanna know what caused it? One single defective content update for Windows. I mean, I am happy to report that it's not a cyber attack, but it is just a shocking reminder of just how delicate our modern digital infrastructure can be. This outage has wreaked havoc around the world, affecting banks, hospitals, airports, supermarkets, pharmacies, schools, TV stations, trains, taxis, Xbox gamers, and the list goes on. Oh, and of course, with the UK's luck, but not only did today happen to be their busiest travel day of the entire year, but they were also scheduled to have the most amount of departures from the UK since before the pandemic. And then this happens. Currently, the blame for all of this chaos is being placed on US-based cybersecurity company called CrowdStrike. And according to their last earnings, they have 24,000 customers. And no, that's not individual people. That's 24,000 large companies, including Apple, Microsoft, and Linux. Immediately, their shares have dropped about 20%. That means a $16 billion loss in value. And just to make matters worse, experts are now saying that the fix for all of these blue screens of death may not be possible with one central command from a firm's HQ, and hands-on keyboard treatment may be needed. One of the suggestions Microsoft have listed right now is switching your computer on and off up to 15 times.
What?
This is still a developing situation, so of course, I'll keep you guys updated.
Maybe it's a bad idea to have all the world's major IT security going through one company. I'm a cybersecurity guy, by the way, besides my YouTube.
Not only did the kid climb on top of a roof of a building owned by BlackRock, there was a ladder set here for him. He was also found with a remote for an explosive detonator. He would have needed a bomb lab to create the type of bomb that this would detonate. That means somebody gave it to him. BlackRock.
Pretty sure BlackRock could afford a better marksman to snipe the president than a kid with a horrible shooting skills.
Make a sperm out of your skin cells and an egg and fertilize that. So you can clone me? I could clone you. I won't do that because it's illegal, but biologically we could do that. I can make organs, mini organs from you and test drugs. What we're doing in the lab is we have... Yeah. Personalized medicine. When you come to my lab and you have to promise you're going to come, I'll show you we grow these mini brains in the lab. And we've got them from people that are predisposed to Alzheimer's or not. And we have a way to age those brains so that they're now 80 years old, even though they're only a few months old. And they lose their ability to fire electrically. They become demented in the dish, little mini brains. On Instagram, I've shown some photos of these. They're pretty cute. And so we give them Alzheimer's and dementia in the dish. And then what we do is we have the system to turn on those 3 embryonic genes, OS and K, and those brains go back in age. But here's the cool thing. Alzheimer's goes away, that electrical activity comes back. Now we do this in a mouse. We make the mouse older, just let them age out, or we accelerate it, and we've been now reversing the age of those brains in the mice, and you can guess what happens. They get their memory ability to learn back.
Unbelievable. Do you hear what you're saying?
He might change the world, but it won't be for the better. People need to stop playing God.
This is it for us, as scientists have found this angry biblical creature that is larger than a continent coming out of the water. And we have been warned about this for centuries. People were terrified after a biblical end-of-the-world creature was seemingly spotted on Earth, as the Bible warns us in Isaiah 27:1 that a huge Leviathan creature will roam around until Judgment Day. And when it rises, it will be the end for us all. And many are horrified, saying it's rising up now. Experts had taken this aerial view of a huge Leviathan-like head underneath the ocean, with many saying it cannot be landmass, as what appears to be its head is moving. Many people were terrified, with even sonar equipment back in May showing something dark and hundreds of feet in the water starting to move to the surface, and it's already bigger than the size of Texas. It's believed to be coming to the US, as Wyoming recently just had a huge crack the size of 6 football fields open up almost immediately, with scientists still not knowing fully how or why. Even just the frequency of earthquakes recently, to even several whales and animals just ending up on the shore not alive anymore have all been eerie signs. Several articles and studies have not been able to fully clarify where all these things are coming from, and they could be completely unrelated to each other.
Bro says we are going to die every day. Don't go anywhere because we still have fire clips after fire clips back to back.
You saw somebody's body levitate.
I saw a person levitate during an exorcism. The person rose about a foot out of the chair they were in.
Was any of that caught on camera?
The church does not videotape. Oftentimes people...
How convenient, Father.
Father Vincent Lampert proceeds to share the story of the first exorcism he'd ever witnessed. What you're about to hear is terrifying.
An elderly lady and her husband, and she's explaining to me why she believes that she's possessed. And, you know, I just, the three of us are in the room and we're having a conversation, and I'm watching Father Carmine, the priest who trained me, and he walks into the room and he puts a roll of paper towels on the table and he walks back out again. And
the exorcist comes back into the room, but this time holding the rites of exorcism and some holy water.
And he immediately takes holy water and he blesses this little elderly lady. As soon as the drops of water hit her, the demon manifested. Her eyes rolled in the back of her head. She began foaming at the mouth, growling and snarling, and throwing out all kinds of blasphemies, insulting God. She was insulting me. And
why the church does not videotape? Anyone know?
Did you know, as the moon goes around, it's gradually getting farther away. We're slowly losing the moon. The moon is getting farther from the Earth every year. Now, kids, this is going to be complicated, so listen carefully. The moon is getting farther from the Earth every year. So that means that it used to be closer. Well, if you bring the moon in closer, you start to create a problem, because the moon causes the tides. The tides would be higher because of a law known as the inverse square law. If you brought the moon into 1/3 the distance, you take the 1/3, inverse it, and square it, it's 9 times the gravitational pull. And if you run all the math on this, you'll find out about 1.2 billion years ago, the moon was whizzing around just above the surface of the Earth. Now, way before that, you're going to have a serious tide problem. So that explains what happened to the tall dinosaurs. They got mooned.
Let me know how you feel about this.
A psychopath is somebody who, as I've said before, is without a conscience. Not because he doesn't have the intellectual capacity to understand the difference between right and wrong. It's because the emotional connection with cognitions, thoughts, and so forth is absent. Some of the characteristics would include this stunning lack of empathy. Lack of concern for other people, the ability to look at other people as mere objects. When normal people are processing emotional material, there is greater activation in parts of the brain that nature's designed to handle emotionality. You can tell the difference between an emotional and a neutral event for these individuals, but for the psychopaths you can't. It looks like parts of limbic region, emotional brain, hippocampus, amygdala, don't function the same in psychopaths as they do in other people.
People, if you read 2 Timothy 3 verse 2 and keep reading it, it talks about this and more.
This is real footage of Janet Hodgson levitating.
Oh my God, the levitation of those girls. They would levitate. I think people thought at first that I was doing it deliberately. So tests were done.
Mr. Groves filled Janet's mouth up with water so she couldn't speak, yet still the demonic voice came out of her mouth. Here is the real recording.
No. 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 No.
No. She sounds like a demon, all right?
No, get me. No, I don't want to.
Do you think there's anyone there just now?
Yeah, I do.
Who?
Who's that?
What?
Who's that, Janet?
Pardon? Stuart. Sir.
No one could fake something like that. They'd have to be a very good 11-year-old actor.
Was Janet faking it, or Or was she really possessed by a demon?
Looks like she was just jumping. She bent the knee in the air. But let me know how you feel about this.
Edie was born in 1904. In 1907, when she was 3 years old, she tripped down a flight of stairs and was pronounced dead by a doctor. And they walk up there, alive and well, playing on her bed. When she started talking, they noticed that she had a strange accent that they couldn't identify. Months to years after that, she would wake up from these, what they would call night terrors, where she was having these dreams of a home with pillars and stuff like that. And she says, I want to go back home. When she was 4 years old, they brought her to the British Museum. And then when they went to the part of Egypt, her eyes lit up and she ran over to one of the mummies and she said, these are my people. She ended up moving to Egypt. One of the heads of the department thought she was just full of crap, basically. Yeah. And brought her to the Temple of Seti, which she claimed was her home. And he said, okay, walk me to where this thing is in the temple. They did it for hours. And she's like, actually, this one part, she said, that used to be the garden. Sure enough, they dug down and there was an ancient garden there, like that had been buried.
The richest man in China said, if you put the bananas and money in front of the monkeys will choose bananas, because the monkeys don't know that money can buy a lot of bananas. In fact, if you offer work and business to people, they will choose to work. Because most people don't know that a business can make more money than a salary. One of the reasons the poor are poor is because the poor are not trained to recognize the entrepreneurial opportunity. They spend a lot of time in school, and what they learn in school is to work for a salary instead of working for themselves. Profit is better than wages, because wages can support you, but profits can make you a fortune. What's your opinion?
There has to be slaves to this corporation, all designed to keep the rich rich and the poor poor.
Has been showing me recently that he doesn't, like, yes, he wants us to plan, and yes, he wants us to, of course, look to the future and plan our life, but he also wants us to focus on what he has for us in the present moment. Like, I've noticed that whenever I look too far into the future and start thinking about something sooner than God wants me to, I'll get anxiety. And I've realized recently that that anxiety and that pressure that I feel, it means that I'm not ready to get there yet. God doesn't even want me there yet. For example, we had a situation just in business where we kind of had to make a tough decision. And everyone kept asking us, like, when are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? When are you going to do it? And I would get so much anxiety when we would think about it. And I heard God put on my heart that, like, you're getting anxiety because you're not ready. Yeah. It's not time yet. Yeah. So everyone kept asking, when are you going to do it? And I'd be like, I don't know, whenever God says. And I just put it away. And then it was as if all of a sudden one day, I got peace, I got confirmation, we went and we took care of it.
Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. If you know, you know.
I saw this and decided that I wanted to come onto this account to speak to people in 3D because I felt duty bound to do it. Just saw this. We're about to all go through a financial revolution, and if you've been following this, you want to watch this, and please watch this to the end because it's super important, folks. It's going to affect your freedom. It's going to affect everything. So, Thailand gets green light to use 24-25 budgets for $13.8 billion US stimulus scheme. So what's going on? So the Bank of Thailand, 50 million Thais are going to be given a handout of 10,000 baht each, okay, from this budget that's about to get signed off. That's about $276 US to spend locally within 6 months. So there's a time limit on this handout. Now, begs the question, if you're aware of Thailand, you know the Thai's economy. Thailand, tourism is booming. The investment from overseas, they're building hotels, tower blocks. It's absolutely booming over there. They've got record numbers of visitors. The economy over there doesn't need stimulating. However, it does when you consider everything. So this stimulus program in Thailand that's about to get approved is called the Digital Wallet Stimulus Program, aimed at kickstarting Southeast Asia's second largest economy, which expanded just 19%. But the economy is booming with tourism and investment and everything else over there. So what are they trying to kickstart? They're trying to kickstart this, folks. The launch that's about to happen of Thailand's CBDC. And it was always in the pipeline that when countries launched this, they would just hand out money to the citizens to get people into the habit of using these digital tokens, programmable money. Now, if you're not careful, you know when it comes to CBDCs, it's programmable money. They can dictate what you can and what you cannot spend. Now, if Thailand are just about to launch their CBDC, which it seems like they are because they've got this stimulus digital wallet program, that tells me that all the other countries around the world are getting ready to start to launch their CBDCs. Ask yourself this, what network are those CBDCs going to be running on? This is on Binance. Thailand in partnership talks with Ripple over XRP adoption. Start to think what this stuff is going to be running on, folks. Your time to make some certain decisions is perhaps running out. We're coming to the point where they're going to start to introduce that now, and depending on where you are at that time is possibly going to depend on your outcome. You can always sort of raise your consciousness levels, come into 5D. 5D timeline is going to be freedom, but you need to be aware of this on the 3D timeline, folk. I thought I'd connect the dots for you. We are just about there. Take care, stay blessed.
I've been holding XRP and set aside 5% of my income every month to buy it. That's all I buy. I call it surprise money because it can turn out good or bad. I made peace with it. By the way, it went up 40% last week.
Shit is getting real, y'all. Here's something you don't see every day. It's snowing in South Africa. Look at this, y'all. Look at the giraffe. Look at the lions, y'all. They're perplexed by the snow on the rocks. Look at that. They're confused. What is going on? And the temperatures are only going to drop even further. But look at the mountain, y'all. It's completely white. It's completely white. You can't even see it, y'all. And people are going to say this is hard weather manipulation instead of realizing we are in a new earth. The earth is rising. The frequency is rising. Just as much as the frequency of the earth is changing and is raising, so must you. This is what's called the butterfly effect. We are caterpillars turning into beautiful butterflies. But snow in South Africa, that's wild. That's something I've never seen before. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Please like, comment, and share for more videos like this. Follow me on all these platforms, y'all. And let's get this shift. Peace in.
Ending times. The shift is happening. Get right with God, folks.
The United States has just announced a new $13 billion contract to replace their doomsday planes, which if you didn't know are the ones that whisk away the president and other VIPs in the event of a nuclear attack. You might be asking, why now? Well, you might have your theories, but they say that the current fleets, which are made by Boeing and have been in operation since the 1980s, are now aging and need to be replaced. But interestingly, they didn't give the contract back to Boeing. Rather, they're giving it to a new company called the Sierra Nevada Corporation. The Doomsday planes are meant to serve as a command center for the government in the sky. Each one can hold up to 112 people, and they currently have 4. They have advanced satellite communication systems, nuclear and thermal shielding. They're supposed to be capable of remaining airborne for close to a week if needed, thanks to in-flight refueling, but the longest they've gone on an actual test is 35 hours. And since technology like touchscreens would fry in a nuclear event, all these planes fly completely using analog instruments. The project is called Survival Airborne Operations Center and is expected to be complete by 2036.
So they're gonna tax billions out of people money to build a plane to save elites while people perish. It's really sad.
This photo, I really haven't ever seen anything like it before that we've ever captured. It was during the moment when I was in your bedroom and I was being badly affected.
Yeah, there was times when that was happening, Zach. I was taking pictures at that moment, and this is the one we got.
So if you look behind me, it appears as though there's a brownish kind of snake thing going up towards my back and almost wrapping around underneath in the opposite direction. I've never seen anything like this captured on our Polaroid photo.
That's the actual photo, you can see
on the actual Polaroid. I really can't make any sense of it. It can't be debunked as any type of lens flare anomaly, any artifact moving through the air, a bug. Everything in the photo is crystal clear and focused.
Your fist is doubled up in this picture.
Yeah.
You were
to me, this is like some type of dark tentacle of some type of spiritual creature, entity, and this was in your bedroom.
All right, off topic. What's with the mask, guys? First, it's not healthy, and second, You sound funny.
The Smithson family and the history of the Smithsonian Institute is something that we never talk too much about. There's just incredible underground storage vaults in the Smithsonian Institute where they kind of, it's like I call it informational Area 51. Cavern system was uncovered in the bottom of the Grand Canyon. The Grand Canyon was actually not a small river carving it through millions of years. The fact is, with the Uinta Basin, all the inland ocean that was all part of that, something cataclysmic happened, fracturing of the rock around the time of 30 AD that caused a massive amount of water to go out over a short period of time and carve the Grand Canyon out. There's plenty of evidence of that. Major Powell did his first expedition down the Grand Canyon. Everybody thought he was crazy as a loon. You know, there's this one-armed major was lost his arm in the Civil War, coming down in the 1870s. They mapped this great river. They thought he would never make it out. If you look at the Powell Museum there in Page, Arizona, there's little boats and to go over the cataracts and the massive amount of water. It was an amazing feat. He survived, as we know. He had a Native American Navajo guide that basically took him down, not expecting to even know if he'd survived the trip. Powell wrote everything in his report to Congress, and he explains what he found looking up at this cave, which was quite a ways up from where the river was flowing in 1870s. And as the explanation went, he went up into it, was able to rock climb up to there's like a keyhole opening that was not natural. It was absolutely carved. And he went in and was shocked with what they found. Egyptian artifacts galore inside. So he didn't have time, of course, to do a full-scale excavation, but in his report to Congress, he made mention of it. Well, that, of course, garnered the attention of the Smithson family, and the Smithsonian Institute sponsored a second trip through, this time loaded with photography equipment to document what was in there. And so the Smithsonian Institute went in there and, my goodness, took all kinds of pictures. And instead of going on down the river, they actually hiked up to the top of the rim and went overland from there to map that out. Okay, that's part of the unknown history of the early expeditions of the Grand Canyon. A guy named G.E. Kincaid, who is an employee of the Smithsonian Institute, he's survives the Great War, comes in, and he's funded by Smithsonian to go back in cavern system. So Kincaid does that, goes in under the disguise of mineral exploration, prospecting, okay, and he locates the exact same Powell cave, goes in with his photography equipment, and brings out a massive amount of precious metal artifacts. Comes up over the top. He's so excited about what he's found, he makes a press front page headlines. Amazing find in the Grand Canyon. News articles on my blog, which was all from, again, the Smithsonian Institute. Well, my blog was shut down and erased, actually, in December of 2019. A lot of people, oh wow, this is fantastic information, Doc. I just post them. So the question that people ask me is, where'd you get these pictures? Well, I had he's now deceased, so I can talk about him now. A friend named Dr. Melvin Laney in Washington, D.C. had high-level security clearance, and he had full unfettered access to the Smithsonian's archives. He sent me this information tied into what I'm working in the property here in Utah. Another story for another time. But it tied in, most definitely ties in, this story of G.E. Kincaid and the amazing discoveries at the bottom of the Grand Canyon. PowerPoint presentation to people who want to come and see this. I think it's interesting.
Smithsonian says, no, it never did happen, but you got
into the actual archives. You've got actual documentation.
It's an amazing, jaw-dropping story. Let me just give you some hints of what we're going to be showing. Massive amounts of mummies. And the big thing is, Terry, is there were thousands and thousands of panels of Egyptian hieroglyphics that have been interpreted. And what it tells the story of should rewrite all the world's history, frankly.
Huh.
Because it's none other than the biblical Joseph of Egypt and his history. It answers the question, really, it was more than just a deal with Potiphar's wife that elevated Joseph to be the most powerful vizier, and second only to the Pharaoh himself. It tells the story of how he ascended to, and why he was able to bring all the grains and survive the famines that went on. It's all in the history of this cave in the bottom of the Grand Canyon. It's an amazing story.
Smithsonian has been destroying evidence of giants and history for years.
What you're about to hear is proof the devil exists. The end of this story will change your outlook on the paranormal forever.
Now, someone came in one time, and of course, like, all I know initially is that there is a claim that a demon is harassing person X. This individual came in and stating he had this diabolical oppression happening with him, especially at night. He would get a nausea anytime he attempted to do anything spiritual. So, pick up the Bible, even to look at a holy picture, he would have this urge to throw up. I sit down with him and I'm talking with him. Now, I've arranged at a set time a person next door that he has not seen and that he is not aware of, but I've arranged at 1:52 p.m. I'm going to be with this individual, and at that point, you are going to start praying against any and every evil in him. I'm watching the clock and we're just talking about whatever. All of us, is there a change in behavior? Is there an agitation? Is there a change in his mood? Does he become tense? Well, he closed his eyes and flopped over at 1:52. Ironically, this man is a professional, but he was also schizophrenic.
Pray to Jesus, shout his name, that evil will recoil with genuine fear.
So I think it's time to clarify. Are you in the Illuminati? Are you in the Illuminati?
No.
Well, it's coming up as a lie.
Well, what, your lights broke, lady?
I think you're moving too much.
This video's gonna f*** me. We knew he said the Illuminati won't f***ing great. Y'all know, but I don't. When did this happen? What am I getting out of it? Does the Illuminati come with 401k?
Alright, are you, Logan Paul, in the Illuminati?
No. By the way, I'm not in the Illuminati now. That doesn't mean I'm not down. If the Illuminati is watching this, don't consider me, like, out. Like, at least approach me and give me the opportunity to say no. Are you in the Illuminati?
Not currently.
You said
That's what they do when they get caught. They act like they're not in it, but they are.
That you felt shame and you felt weird about your past. But I want to circle back to this, and I just read this, so I really pray that this enters your heart. The disciples are so curious on why Jesus was talking to the people in parables. So they were like, yo, come here, Jesus. Why didn't you talk to him like us? And he leans in and he says, because you have been given access. So that right there should show you that when it's time, God will reveal himself to you.
Amen.
And I think this whole time you needed to go through these type of deals and heartbreaks and complications where you feel even guilty about it. Because what happens is God chose the most amazing, broken, lost people and held them as an example, saying, look how great they are now. And that's because they recognize their creator. So I wish you doubled down on what you did before. Because now when I stand across from you and I see the authenticity that's coming out of you, and that there's a gentleman that walked in your shoes and he sees the light that you're shining now, that wasn't for no reason.
Woo!
At all. It's just my hype woman.
That was good, that bit.
Yeah.
Elevated the whole bit.
Well, you didn't have to do that. I thought, this is important what's happening now. This is very important. I better pay attention. Don't switch off now.
Yeah, Belle, come on.
But it's so true.
It's
so true,
Who talks like that?
Look how amazing he looks. Look what God can do and how he can change your life. God is so good. All right, folks, I'm going to end our video with these coming clips. Be kind to each other. There's a free gift below. And if you want to buy me coffees or support me through Patreon, the links are in the description below. Thank you for staying till the end. Have a prosperous day. God bless.
I don't care what y'all gotta say about this man right here, this man Trump, but this man is a thug. I'm telling you, he the only president that done been to jail and survived, and white people even hate him. God damn, if this ain't I don't know what to tell y'all, but I'm just saying, Trump is the man right now. He the best. I bet you Trump at the house right now, like, yeah, JFK would be proud of me. You know what I'm saying? I know he looking down at me. I done been shot and everything. He feeling like a rapper right now. I'm telling you, man, if y'all don't vote for Trump 2025, I don't know what y'all gonna do. If y'all vote for these other ain't been, they got get my vote. Trumpster.